All right, so I need a couple of volunteers that know how to open a combination lock. Anybody in here know how to open a combination? Okay, come on down. I need 2 volunteers, please. I'm not kidding. Come on down, over here. And you too, bro. Come on. One for you. You come down here, bro. There you go. All right, so I need you guys to open that up, please. So, while they're opening that up, I want to share a couple things with you. Up until now, I think most people have instructed, they've told, they sold you that your future, your motivation, your drive, all those things come about and you are a padlock. You're basically like one of these. Now this is the part where I'm going to make a lot of people really nervous. And these are all the sacred cows that are about ready to get moved out to pasture. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So imagine if your future was set up like a padlock, where it is just the key, right? That's all you got to do. So all you have to do is come along and have a situation where any of those things, habits, mindset, anybody ever heard of that before? Nobody in here, just me. Okay, cool. So if you're in that spot where you have to have any one of those things, that's a padlock, the way I look at it. I'm going to give you a little bit, maybe a different perspective on thinking about this. I want you to think about your drive, your life, your way of processing. I want you to think yourself as more of a combination lock. And I'm going to prove it here in just a second. How are you guys doing? They don't know the combination. Now, what would you ordinarily do if you didn't know the combination? Google? Look? Nope, you're going to ask your friends. Somebody's got to have a combo out there. So fire me a combo. Something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's yours. Combo. Combo to a combination lock. Come on.
17, 30, 19.
15, 30, 19. That's yours. Now, while they're opening that up, I want to share where I first discovered this conundrum, if you will. I was probably 14, somewhere in that range, and I was in high school. I was a freshman. And I had to go to the locker to get changed to go to PE. And when I got there, unfortunately, I forgot my combination lock. I'd never used a combination lock before. So what did my partner standing next to me? He says, oh, 24, 13, 60 or whatever it was. So I tried this thing and I'm trying to get the combination to open up and it never would. And then the bell rings and then I got to go to PE. Now, I am dating myself a little bit. I had my 501s and my eyes on, and I had my dope boat shoes on, and I had to go run 3 miles around the track in my street clothes because I couldn't get access to my gym stuff. And I was like, what is this deal? I don't even know what I thought that. I'm like, what am I doing in a part of thinking that I'm going to borrow someone else's combination? That's silly, but it happens. How are you guys doing? Anybody else got another combo? Anything?
38, 15, 1.
That's yours? Is?
Wait, doesn't go to 38.
Oh, can't go to 38.
30.
30, 15, 1. Anything?
I'm working.
No. Okay. Let's see if that's going to work. Here's the interesting thing about this. All of you that gave combinations and all of the things that we're thinking about as far as a singular padlock way of looking at life is their plan. They represent it as the plan. Just go do this. So let's test this just a little bit. If we're in a spot where we're thinking, I'm trying to make some progress in my life, they're trying to accomplish something, and so far, are we doing all right? No, we're not doing very well. The challenge with this whole mindset, I actually hate the word mindset, but I'm going to use it today. So the challenge with this whole thing about just do this and you're going to get that, that's their plan. It worked for them. That's their padlock or their combination, however they've worked it out. The tough part about us, being me and you, is someone coming through and saying, this is the way. There is no the way. There's your way. And what I hope today is to impress upon you that your way is the right way. Let's see if I can just cooperate. Anybody in here ever set a New Year's resolution or a goal and not achieve it? Okay, so it isn't just me. So as I'm looking through this and saying, The studies are, and they range, 88% of people, there's a 2007 survey stated 88% of people failed on their New Year's resolutions. 89 to 95% don't finish college online courses. Those are known now as, this is a new term for me, those are MOOCs, which is massive open online courses. Here's what's nuts. You got a situation where you could go to Harvard right now, but they still don't follow through. And that's just everywhere. So they're putting the plan out, which is the lockout, saying, here, go get a Harvard education. You can get a Stanford education as well. It's all completely free online. 5% of people are completing that thing to certificate. That's, okay, so let me ask you a question. Students in the room. If you got 5% right on a test, what is that? That's an F, right. If we're in a situation where 41% of college students graduate college in 4 years, what's 41% if you get that on a test? You guys hear a theme going on here? So it's kind of weird when we're in this spot where we get all this advice and all of these things and all this stuff to do, but yet this is the result we get. So I'm hoping this works. Why don't we try that? There's another combination. 7, 20, 5. Feverishly. Work?
No.
Okay. That's all right. So let's try that again. 7, 20, and 5. Hey, there we go. All right, give her a hand, please. So we know for a fact that 39 intellectual. I want you to keep that. The reason I want you to keep that is I want you to think about this moving forward on what is your combination. I want you to think about that moving forward, about not what his combination is, my combination, or their combination. I want you to know what your combination is. All right, my friend, we got to go back for you. So 725 is your magical number. It is, trust me. I'll tell you what. Just so I don't burn time, you practice that, because that's your code. 725. So, give him a huge hand for participating. You didn't have to come out there. You can take a seat. That's it. Clear it a few times, hit 720 and number 5, and it will open. If he needs some help with that, somebody help him out with that. I will go past this, go to here. So, let's get back to, I would say, further conversations about what I'm going to call the problem. Now, let's take the big 3. Health, wealth, and we'll call happiness. If you're in a spot where we look at the 1960s and the total on that slide, which didn't get transferred right because I'm doing the math right now, and that should be 43 or 44%. 44% should be that top number on the 1960s. You see where it went to as far as the 80s? Is that less or more? Better or worse? It's worse, isn't it? So if this is the trend, and I'm going to go here, there's your graph. You see where the numbers are going? Are the numbers going down or are the numbers going up? Up. So is that success or is that failure? Failure. So how can we look at this with a logical brain and say, do you think that there are no plans for diets out there? Are there any New Year's resolutions for diets? But then look at the numbers. So if we're going to go back and poll our students in the room and say, if we're looking at that, is what grade would we give that? That's an F. Okay? So now we know if we're looking at this. Now, while this is going on, did these people not know about having a positive mindset? Did they not have goals? So they had goals, they had mindset. They might even thought about it a little bit. I bet they had some meditation moments. But that's still the result. So you're like, well, that's weird. If they've had all those things, and they have a growth mindset, then why are the results like that? Does that make any sense at all? It doesn't make any sense. This is where we say, that's ludicrous. And what I'm not going to do any more further is I'm not going to look at my life like this. Because mindset isn't going to do it. Smart goals, not going to do it either. I really don't care if you have a good why. Do you think those people didn't have a strong why? I mean, seriously. They all did. And now, with those numbers facing that way, health challenges will continue to increase. So you got an increasing pressure to do something about it. On top of this, let's talk wealth. The consumer debt in 1970 was $532 billion. Look where it's at now. Is that worse or better? Worse. Okay. So people that are contributing, small business drives America. If we're in a spot where, did they not know about mindset? Did they not set goals? They did not come through and say, I really need to think positive? Did they not think that? Why is that like that? Again, it makes no sense. Cost of living, 69.5%. Is that decrease or increase? So if we're talking about health, is health better or worse? Is wealth better or worse? Okay. Now let's go here. There's your happiness trend. That's the World Happiness Institute organization. That's the measure. This is off Gallup polls. So it wasn't Brian sitting out looking out going like, well, it seems like people aren't happy today. Now, did those people have a mindset thought? Do you think those people had a New Year's resolution? Did they have a goal? Did they have any of the things that you're being told that you need to do if you're going to be successful? Yes, they had it all. But they're still looking at it like, that is the key. If I just have a good growth mindset, I'll be successful. I'll be happy. That's all I got to do is just that. If that was the case, at some point in time, that's 40 years worth of time, there would be an inflection point. Don't you guys see that? At some point in time, if something really revolutionary came along, there would be a spike up, right? If something worked, and we came away and said, oh, that's the thing that is all the parts and pieces are together, we would see something going up. So if I've got health, wealth, and happiness all on a decrease, or an increase as far as consumer spending and as far as inflation and all the rest of the stuff, then how can I come away and assign any one thing to say that will fix the thing? You guys get where I'm going now? It's a combination of things that cause that to happen. It's not a padlock. It's not a key. You don't need a key to learn how to learn. You need to understand how you learn. There's a huge difference. Because if I come in and say, hey, here's how to learn, whose way is that? My way. That happens, I don't know what it is, I think the number is roughly $10 billion a year we're spending trying to solve that problem. Now, if we spent $10 billion and we come back with those numbers, is that good or bad? You guys get me now, right? Here is for high school students. Is that, so maybe that was just adults. They're all grumpy. They all got to deal with all these things. So it's all the grumpy old adults. It's all the boomers got issues. The kids, they're good. Oh, they're not good. Isn't this now one of those things where we can say, okay, I get it. Whatever thing, whatever padlock thing we're going to come through and say, that's not going to work. So pretty much anything that you're going to do now is going to be an advantage over that. You can literally just turn and run the other direction and you'd probably achieve a different result or a better result. Anybody know what that is? That is a blind squirrel. Please stop blind squirreling your life. How do you blind squirrel your life? You tell me. You teach this other part. How would you blind squirrel your life now? Follow through on one single thing and think that's the answer. Again, I'll go back. The sacred cows, I'm sorry, sort of, ish. Am I supposed to not say that emperor has no clothes? Where do I lie in that standpoint? I've worked with adults, I work with children, I work with youth, I work with athletes for over 30 years. Those are the same things I experience all the time. So I know this stuff, and when they come back to me and say, all I got to do is this, all I need to do is visualize. No. You got to figure out how you work. You got to figure out your combination. So what I'm hoping tonight is to give you a better idea on how to figure that part out. So, you guys are looking at me like that. I wouldn't do that to you. It's not the solution. It's a solution.
I can't be that guy. Come on. You guys are all wired up. 6:30. So here's what I'm going to do. This is what I call my A5 framework. Tried to make it easy. All A's. The first step in your combination is awareness. Second step in your combination is acceptance. Third, action. Now, where do most people start on that scale? Where do most people start? Seriously. Absolutely, 100%. If I give you a plan, where am I going to start? Am I going to start being aware of how I work and accept how I work and then go into action? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight into action and I'm going to start going. And then I'm going to adjust in advance and I'm going to come back and say it didn't work. Because we know the numbers don't work. There's too many statistics, too many things that are I would call at this particular stage blatantly obvious. So let me jump down these things just real quick.
So awareness is about understanding where you are and what needs to change. You. I want to know how you work. If you're in a spot, and let's just for tonight's sake, let's just take motivation. Because anybody want any more motivation in the room? Nobody. Okay. It's just me and you. So if you would like more motivation, think about this from the standpoint of saying, number one thing is, do you even know what motivation is to you? Most people don't. They're looking for this thing, they don't even know what it is. That's kind of frightening. Are you ever going to find that? That's back to the blind squirrel. The answer is this: no, you won't. So what I'm going to suggest is take the first one and be really aware of who you are and how you work. If you look or read anything by Daniel Goleman, emotional quotient, intelligence, that's where you want to go. There's a whole host of things where you're going to go in that at that spot and figure those parts out. Double down here. The next place you want to double down, acceptance. That's my little quote. Judgment isn't acceptance. If you're spending time in judgment, you're not accepting how things are. If you're trying to jump out and say, well, if it wasn't for this, I'd be rich and famous and all the other things, you're going to fight yourself all day long. So if you want further information on that, Dr. Kristen Neff, she has a whole host of information, goodness sakes. She's amazing. Strongly recommend anything by Dr. Kristen Neff. Third step, finally, when we get to here, taking action towards your goals. So when I talk about micro actions, I'll give you a little, you guys all call these hacks now. I'll give you a little hack. So this we call a shortcut for older people, but now they're hacks. So a hack would be, let's say for instance you want to exercise. Anybody in here want to do any exercise? Okay. When you want to do some exercise and you want to shortcut that a little bit, just put your exercise stuff on and give yourself permission to be done. What do you think is going to happen when you already put your stuff on? Oh well, I already got my stuff on, might as well do it. It's all the buildup that happens. So those micro actions, those things will pay off in spades. Does that make sense? Okay.
Let me add to, come on, clicker. Be nice. Nope, you did go. You didn't go there. Adjust. So adjustment involves adapting to challenges. So as you're going towards something, the awareness piece, this is what I want to produce. This is who I am. This is how I work. As I'm working towards that, I'm adjusting. Another way maybe to look at this is instead of looking at this like a powerboat, I'm just going to hit the gas and go over there. I'm looking at this a little more like a sailboat.
Life comes on, things happen, stuff doesn't work exactly like we thought it was going to work. Then we're in a spot of like, what do? I adjust. So does that part make sense? So what's step number one? Awareness. Step number two, acceptance. Step number three, action. Thank you. Step number four, thank you. And finally, we're going to advance. This is where I tie, as weird as it's going to sound, I tie the why part in here. Linking your daily actions to the bigger picture. When you're going towards something, a better understanding, I'll tie why in here. Because it seems, it's been my testing on a very micro scale, that it seems to make more sense. It seems to produce better results. Maybe that's the best way to put it. So, that's a little sticker that I put on my window at the office. You guys see what it says? What's it say? You're staring at who? What's competition? Right, what are you staring at there? Right. You guys get on lines where I'm going back and saying, okay, your combination, your competition. Do you see where those tie back in together? Don't worry about what anybody else does. They have their own combination and stuff and things. You have yours. So double down on that, and then I'm going to end with this. I think this needs to die. I think this is about, 1988 it was made. This is about as boomer as it gets. If you want to really cringe, watch Shia LaBeouf's video with the, just do it screaming at you for a minute and a half or something like that. I think this thing's done myself. But I don't want to come through here and just say, oh, just do it, and then I'd say like it needs to go. I got to replace it with something. So let's replace it with this. If I'm going to replace it, just do it your way. Your way, your way, your way, your way. And your way. If you're in that spot, you got a much better chance at having anything happen. So what you can do now is you can call, email, text Nike and say, we need to update the saying because just do it your way is the way it is now in 2024. Cool? All right, with that said, I'm done.